Hi, my name is Brooke Haggerty, the Food Chick. Welcome to today's episode of For the Love of Food. Today we're going to be talking pastries. A little bit of savory pastry, a little bit of sweet pastry. I'm going to be using a store-bought dough. It's a sheet dough that I'm going to be turning in. This one's going to turn into savory. I've got a sweet going in the oven right now. Let me pull this out. You'll see how gorgeous this is. This is my beautiful savory. We're going to be adding a little bit of arugula and some feta cheese, some sun-dried tomatoes, Kalamata olives. Let's make this a beautiful little starter, or even a rustic-style pizza for your family for dinner. But while this dough is cooling down just a little bit, we're going to get started on the sweet part of this. This is going to be really, really nice. It's going to be a baklava-style dessert. When I say baklava style, because it's got a little bit of cinnamon and cinnamon sugar and some nuts and some honey, but we're going to add a little bit of chocolate spread to this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my little pastry spreader and I'm going to flatten out. This is actually 2 pieces of dough here that I've put together, because I'm going to be folding it together and making nice little elephant ears, so to speak. So this is going to be really, really nice. We're going to put these 2 pieces of dough together here. Just flatten them nice and easy together. Beautiful. I'm going to take my little chocolate spread. I'm going to spread my chocolate spread on here. Does not have to be perfect. That's why I like this style of baking. It's not measuring. Anyone who knows me knows that baking is not my thing, because it requires following directions, measuring, and reading. While I love to read, cookbooks especially, I don't always like to follow directions or measure things out. So this recipe does not require me to follow directions per se, or to measure things out. I'm just going to get my chocolate spread on here. Boy, this looks good already. Let's take this chocolate spread, get it across here. This is really, really nice. This is really, really nice. So we've got our chocolate spread here. Try and get it as far out on the edges as you can, because we're going to fold them in. There, just fan it out ever so slightly. We're going to fold this in. We're not going to roll it. We're going to fold it. And it's going to make these beautiful elephant ears. Such an easy dessert and so much fun to make. Beautiful and elegant for parties. It's a great hostess gift for the holidays that are coming up. You can make a ton of these, put in a beautiful bag, clear cellophane bag or a colored cellophane bag. Take it to your hostess, and I think she would absolutely love that. Okay, so I've got my chocolate spread on there. I've made my own combination of cinnamon sugar. This is about a cup of sugar to about 3 teaspoons of sugar, of cinnamon rather. I'm just going to put that right on here. Oh, yes. And we're not going to worry about measuring again, because we want that cinnamon and that sugar to get all nice and caramelized in there. I've got some chopped pecans here. These were whole pecans. I just put them in my food processor to chop them down a little bit. Pecans are going to be really, really nice in here. Okay. So pecans. And then ever so gently, I'm going to take my sides and pick them up off my puff pastry sheet, off my paper here. Go in about 1/3 of the way. And I'm going to go in again. Again, this is not science, which is part of the reason I like it. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to take a little bit of my honey. And this is actually a local honey. And I'm just going to run it right down the sides here. This is just going to add a little bit of extra sweetness as we fold in again. So we're going to fold in one more time here. And one more time here. We're not finished folding yet, so it's very important when you're doing this. Make sure that your dough is fresh from the refrigerator so it's nice and cool. Okay? And I'm going to take my honey one more. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit of cinnamon sugar first, I think. A little bit more cinnamon sugar down there. Because if we're going to go sweet, let's go really sweet, right? That's what I say. Go big or go home when it comes to this baking thing. Okay. A little bit of local honey yet again. Just we'll swirl that down. Oh, I think this is going to be nice. And we're going to put this together. Roll it up one more time so it sticks nice and beautifully. And you see you've got this nice log that has formed. Our log is formed. I'm going to take my pizza cutter and I'm going to cut my pizza down, my dough down with my cutter. So you see it forms a little bit of a, looks like a heart. That heart is going to turn into some elephant ears, elephant ear looking. Oh, this is going to be really, really nice. This is very, very simple. You see this is taking me, I think we're about 5 minutes into this so far. I'm anxious to see how these turn out because as you know, I don't always try my recipes before I do them. Now this is something that I've made before. I've not made them with the chocolate. So this is going to be fun to see. And they don't have to be exact. That's the other thing I love about this recipe. It's a very, very rustic looking recipe. Our beautiful snacks. Oh, this is going to be nice. Oh, wow. These are going to puff up beautifully while they're in the oven. While these are in the oven, we're going to make our savory dish using the same dough. Obviously not the same dough, but the same style of dough sheet. And we're going to make a beautiful savory dish out of it as well. Now these are going to be nice and thick, but you can do these thinner as well if you want something just a little bit more bite size. Make sure these are sticking together. That's why I had that honey in there to help them to stick. Let me give my hands a little wash. Okay, so my hands have got a little wash on them. I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 15 minutes. While these are cooking, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put together our savory dish. So let me get these in. Got my timer going for 12 minutes to start. And then we'll take a peek at those and see how they're looking. I'm sure I'll peek at them in between too. But now we've got, this is this sheet that I've already made. I put this in the oven at 375 degrees for 12 minutes. We're going to turn this into a little rustic style pizza this afternoon. Again, we're going to be using some feta cheese, some arugula. I have some dill and some oregano, the last from my garden for the year. Some chopped red onion, a little capers, sun-dried tomatoes, and Kalamata olives. I'm very, very excited about this. It's going to be really, really delicious. Remember, I just took this right out of the oven. I cooked it, again, 375 for 12 minutes. I'm going to add a little bit of feta cheese to the bottom. This is a very, really nice salty cheese, so I'm not going to be adding any salt to this dish at all. Put some feta cheese on the bottom, and I'm going to put some feta cheese on the top when we're finished as well. So we've got our feta cheese. We're going to put some sun-dried tomatoes. This is a beautiful little gift too to serve to your guests when they first arrive to your home for your holiday events, or if you're having, a tailgate party for football, or just the girls get together. This is going to go beautiful with a beautiful Viognier wine if you're having the girls over for the day. Maybe put some red onion, a little bit of red onion on here. Some nice red onion. I'm going to add another salt factor here. I'm going to put a little bit of Kalamata olive on here. Kalamata olives are Greek in origin, and they've got a nice brine on them. Again, adding a little bit more salt flavor in there. We're going to be putting, of course, my favorite lemon pepper will also go on this. And then we're going to put a little arugula on as well. Adds a nice green flavor. We're going to pop it back in the oven just for a couple of minutes so all that cheese bubbles. And then a little bit more arugula to add some more bright green on top of it. So I'm cutting these olives in half here. I have to taste one of these. I love this olive. It's just so, the brininess of it, and it just really sucks you right into it. Okay, so here we go. A little bit of Kalamata olive. I'm going to put a little caper on here as well. I'm going to add a little bit more feta cheese to melt down on there. It'll help, the feta cheese on top will help our items to stick together on the top as well, to soak down into our dough. Now, if you want, you could also just par cook the pastry dough for about maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and then put your toppings on and push them down a little bit so they sit down into there. But I just wanted to have something right on the top. So I'm going to put that little bit of that arugula now. And then why not a little bit more feta cheese, because you can never have too much feta cheese as far as I'm concerned. This looks wonderful. After this goes into the oven, we're going to pull it out. We're going to garnish it with some fresh dill and some fresh oregano. Let me get my hands washed. Okay, let's see how our puff pastry's doing in here. Oh, these are looking very good, very rustic. I'm not going to lie. Very good, very, very rustic. And we'll see how they are in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so my sweet desserts are finishing up. I did put them in for about 15 minutes. So while that's finishing up, I'm going to add a little bit of lemon pepper to my savory dish. And we're going to switch these out as I pull out, and keeping my fingers crossed that my chocolate baklava style dessert is going to work just fine. My timer's got 17 seconds left. But while we do this, let me go ahead and pull out a tray. I've got a tray here that I'm going to decorate beautifully with some gorgeous fresh raspberries. It's going to be really, really nice with our little desserts on there. Nice and colorful. There's my timer. Again, crossing my fingers, folks. Let's see what these look like. Oh my gosh. They are gorgeous. Take a look at those. Again, extremely rustic looking. Very happy about that. So let's pull those out. We're going to pop our pizza in quotations in. And we're going to set a timer for 3 minutes on that. I'm going to crank the heat up to 425. I'm going to bake that at 425 for about 3 minutes. We'll start that for 3 minutes. Oh my goodness, look at this. These are beautiful. These are really, really, really pretty. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm going to put only my prettiest ones on my plate. They're going to need to cool for just a couple of minutes before we can handle them to eat. But look how pretty that is. Imagine putting these out for your guests to eat. You can make them a little thinner if you want. Be so nice. You make them a little thinner if you like. I'm going to do a little something else here. I'm going to drizzle them with a little bit more of this local honey, just to add a nice little finishing touch. Oh, a nice fresh raspberry on there. If you've got some fresh mint, that'd be beautiful. Nice plate there. Couple of raspberries here. Let me put these aside. I think think I'm going to bite into one of these right now. Even though it's warm, oh, it smells absolutely delicious. Mmm. It's so good. The chocolate with the cinnamon sugar, absolutely fantastic. The honey, the extra little bit of honey on top of there. And look, some of the honey fell onto my beautiful raspberry. Oh, this is beautiful. And once this hardens up, it's going to be a nice firm cookie for you. I'll show you what one looks like when it's after it firms up. Oh my gosh, absolutely fantastic. I've got about a minute left to go here on my savory dish. Very, very nice in there. So that looks really, really terrific. Again, in here we have the chocolate nut spread, chocolate nut spread with a little bit of cinnamon sugar. We've got some pecans in here and some local honey. We took our dough, we spread it out on our sheet using our pastry roller. Then we put our chocolate spread on there, our cinnamon sugar. We rolled together end to end in, putting a little bit of honey on it to help with sticking on there, to create this gorgeous little elephant ear style baklava dessert. And again, I say baklava because it has the honey in it, it has the nuts in it, it has the cinnamon in it, it has the sugar in it. And we just added the chocolate to give it a little bit of extra sweetness to it. But you could do this without the chocolate. You could do this with peanut butter, with almond butter. You could use, I mean, the possibilities are endless, but you saw how easy this no directions needed sweet dessert is, and they are gorgeous. Again, cut them a little bit thinner if you want. But fantastic. Okay, now I've got my savory coming out. Oh my gosh. And this looks delicious as well. Oh my goodness. Again, some feta cheese, Kalamata olives, sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of fresh red onion. I'm going to put a little bit more, I'm going to put a little fresh dill on here. This is the last of the dill from my garden. Nice little Greek style pizza, rustic pizza here. We're using pastry dough, two different ways here today at the Food Chick, sweet and savory. Oh, this fresh dill going right on top of it. Smells amazing. I've also got a little bit of fresh oregano, again, the last from my garden. I'm going to throw a little bit of this on there as well. Just a little bit, because the oregano is going to add a little bit of pepper flavor to it. You don't need too much. Again, using one product two ways, sweet and savory. And it's perfect for the non-baking baker that I am. So let me get my handy dandy little pizza cutter here. And turn my timer off again. Here we go. Cut down into this, right into the middle there. Look at that, how beautiful that is. The sun-dried tomato, the arugula, the feta cheese. Don't forget I put the capers on there for a little saltiness, as well as the Kalamata olives and the feta cheese for saltiness. Let's see how this bad boy tastes. Again, delicious. This has got beautiful, fresh flavors. The cheese is just ever so softly melted on there, so it's not taking away from the freshness of the arugula, the tomato, the red onion, which is so crunchy in there, and then the saltiness, the added saltiness with the capers and the Kalamata olives, absolutely delicious. One product, two ways, sweet and savory. My name is Brooke Haggerty, and I'm the Food Chick. Thanks for joining me today on For the Love of Food.